Hey everybody, how's it going? On today's video, we are going to be doing a little bit of like a talking quick playthrough of Dream Home. The Dream Home is by many
I think it's primarily by Rebel, and it's also by Osmodee.
Rebel and Osmodee. Okay, all right. You excited, sir?
Yeah, this is a fun game. I like this one.
Yeah, I like it too. Would you care to explain for us a little bit about how Dream Home plays?
Sure. So, Dream Home is originally a 2 to 4 player game. We are going to be playing with the 156th Sunny Street expansion today. This does increase the player count to 6. It is just going to be Nick and I, though. We are going to play with a couple of modules from that expansion, and I will talk about them after I've explained the base game. So in the base game Dream Home, we are attempting to build our dream homes. And we're going to take these boards that we have in front of us here and we're going to fill them with all different kinds of rooms and decor items. And with the expansion that we're playing with today, we're also going to be trying to fulfill blueprints, and we're going to be inviting friends and family to come over into our dream homes as well. So the game is pretty simple. It's a fairly family-friendly-esque card drafting game in which we are going to be, like I said, building this dream home. The way that we're going to do that is on your turn, you're going to take a column of cards over here. So most of the time, you're going to get 2 cards. Sometimes you may only get 1 card if you choose this column right here. A couple of things I do want to mention before we get started is, like I said, we are incorporating some elements of the expansion, so you may see things here that are not included in the base game. We're also playing with one of two-player variants. So the rules have a few variants to play different ways, including a solo variant, which I forgot about until just now. So this is actually a 1 to 6 player game if you have the expansion. And we're going to be playing with 2 of those 2 player variants today. One was just a slight variation on the setup. The other one, which we are not going to be playing with today, it would have us remove cards from one of these columns here before people are able to select their cards. You can play that way if you want to. We're not going to worry about it. We're just going to play just kind of for fun, not to be super competitive. So the way that the game works is one player will be the first player, and they will have this first player token. On their turn, they're going to select a column of cards, and they can choose this first column of cards, which means they'll be the first player again next time, but it also means they only get 1 card. Or they can choose any one of these columns over here, in which case they'll get 2 cards. Cards that are on the top draft row here contain things like tools. There are people who can help us. There are roof types. So this one right here is like a roof. And then there are also decor items. So that's all the stuff we'll find in the top row here. And then the bottom row is all different kinds of rooms that we could put into our dream homes. And this is how we're going to kind of build these things here. It's also going to be how you get the majority of your points for this game, because you'll notice these numbers on the cards here. These are the number of points the cards are worth if they're in your dream home in certain configurations. So for example, if I have just one playroom just by itself in my dream home, it's worth 2 points. But if I had 2 playrooms sort of next to each other, or one larger playroom, then that would be worth 6 points. Some of the rooms are special, like the garage. They can only be played into the basement of your home. So we have 2 basement locations, and only particular kinds of cards can go there. So the garage would go down here and nowhere else. Um, and similarly, we couldn't put that playroom I talked about in the basement. So there's some basement rooms. There's also some rooms that would allow us to sort of specialize an area. So this sauna, for example, it's only worth 1 point by itself, but for that particular card, if it's adjacent to a bathroom, it's worth 3 extra points. So you've got some sort of card placement that you're trying to do here in order to achieve like the most points that you possibly can. The last type of thing that we could add to our dream home is the decor, which I talked about in this first draft row here. We will draft decor as a card from this, like this cat house, for example, and then we'll discard that card and find the matching decor type and put that into our dream home. Some of the decor has particular requirements. So for the cat home, I believe it says that it has to be placed Oh, it can be placed in any room, but some of the decor has particular requirements where it has to be placed in certain types of rooms. And you do have to place the decor as soon as you acquire the card for it. So if you're not quite ready to put a piece of decor in your house because your home doesn't currently meet the requirements for it, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to put that decor in your house. So, like I said, the way that it works is a player is going to choose 2 cards or 1 card and the first player marker. They're going to typically either hang on to their tools or helpers or their roofs from over here, or discard their decor tokens to collect their decor, and then they'll put their room in their house. When we're putting rooms in our houses, there's a few rules we have to abide by. The first is that nothing can have nothing underneath it. So, for example, this first level of the house right here, these first 3 rooms, there's sort of like a foundation underneath these. So we can go ahead and put things here. However, we couldn't put anything right here or right here yet because there's nothing in our basement. Similarly, we couldn't put anything on the second story until the room below it would be built. So we want to build our house so that nothing falls down. We also want to build so that the rooms that we're expanding are adjacent to each other. So this kitchen, for example, this is only worth 1 point if it's just by itself and there's not another kitchen to the left or right of this card. But if there were another kitchen to the left or right of this card, then it would be worth 6 points. However, I can't extend it past 2 cards. So I couldn't have just like a huge kitchen take up more than 2 spaces. I could, if I want to, have another kitchen somewhere else in my house. But one of the ways in which you score points in this game is that you want your house to have some sort of realistic functionality to it. And I mean that because it is a 2-story house, you want a bathroom on each floor if you can manage it. And you also want a kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom, at least one of each, somewhere in the house. And if you can do that, then you'll score extra points. So as we are acquiring these cards, we're placing things into our home. We are going to eventually fill up the home, and that is going to trigger the end game. So once all 12 of these have been filled in with cards, then the end game will trigger, and we will count up all of our points. Whoever has the most points wins. Now, we're going to get points, like I said, primarily from the rooms that we have built into our home. We'll also get it from the decor that we've been able to place in our house, from that functionality I just mentioned, and then lastly, from a roof. Now, we are going to build a roof line here as well, and the way that we're going to do that is every time we collect a roof card, we're going to have to put that card face down off to the side, and we don't get to look at them again. So there is a bit of a memory element here. You have to kind of remember what roof types you picked up, because at the end of the game, before we score, we're going to turn over all of the roof cards that we have, and we have to build a roof of 4 cards. As long as we can build any roof of 4 cards, we're going to score some points. But if you can build a roof that has all 4 of the same type of roof card, you'll get extra points. And some of the roof tiles also have sort of like special build features on them that are worth additional points that are marked on the card. That's the base game scoring and sort of how the base game works. Like I said, we are playing with the 156 Sunny Street expansion today. It has 2 modules, and we're going to play with both of them. You can sort of mix and match these if you want, but we're going to go ahead and play with both. One is the Blueprints expansion. So that gives every player 1 each of a 3-point blueprint and a 5-point blueprint. So these are sort of like private objectives that I'm going to be trying to reach throughout the game. And it may be things like have a certain number of these tokens in your home, have a certain number of a certain type of room in your home, have a certain number of helpers, or that kind of thing. When you start the game, you get 1 each, like I said, of the 3 and the 5-point card. But at the end of the game, you only get to score 1 of these. So throughout the game, you're going to want to try to kind of work on both, but just keep in mind that you don't actually get to score both. If you do manage to achieve both, then obviously you're just going to want to pick the 5-point instead of the 3-point card. But that gives us a little bit of flexibility so that we don't have to achieve both of these. But if we do, we still only get the higher points. So we're going to be playing with that Blueprints expansion. We're also going to be playing with the Friends and Family expansion. And in that, these different people over here may come and visit our house if we achieve specific parameters. So, for example, this lady right here, she's worth 3 points at the end of the game if we've been able to sort of entice her over to our house. But in order for her to want to come over, we're going to have a bathroom, a living room, and a bedroom all on the same floor of our home. So if I have at least one bathroom, at least one living room, and at least one bedroom on one floor of my house, then on the turn that I achieve that, she will come and she will sort of visit my house by tucking into the side of the row that she meets the criteria for. You can meet the criteria for multiple guests and even in the same turn. So there is a bit of a race factor here. You know, if both Nick and I are going for this person and he achieves it first, then he's going to go ahead and take that card, and then I'm not going to be able to get that one. That is pretty much what we're doing today. There are probably a few rules that I did not cover in this explanation. This is just sort of give you a feel for what the game is like. So don't take this as gospel. This is just sort of to give you the flavor of the game. But we're going to go ahead and play. And I think maybe we'll come back midway through the game and let you know kind of where we're at individually, how we are feeling about things. Maybe if something really cool has happened, we'll talk about it, or if something frustrating happened,
Or whoever's winning or losing at the point to see if they turn it around.
We'll see. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get to it. And like we said before, we'll come back midway through the game and give you kind of an update and tell you cool things that happened, the state of our boards, and all that fun stuff. So, all right. Well, we will see you guys in a sec. Toodles! Hey everybody, we're back, and we're about probably a little more than halfway through Dream Home. We were just going and going and going, and I was like, pump the brakes. We are just checking where we're at in the game, and it was very much like we need to stop and check out where, like, let people know where we're at. So, Sarah, do you want to go first and tell us what you how you're doing in Dream Home so far?
Sure. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8 rooms in my dream home. And I have a couple of things going on here. I've got on my first floor here, I've got a nice complete kitchen. It's going to be worth 6 points. Plus, it has some decor, which will get me extra points. I have a 2 card living room, which is currently worth 4 points, but I'd really like to get a third card for the living room because that would bump it from 4 points to 9 points. However, I need another card here in the basement before I can build anything else here. Now, if I, instead of getting a third living room card, if instead I put a bathroom here, then I would get extra points for my home functionality for having bathrooms on both levels of my house. But we'll just kind of see like which cards come up. Like I said, I really need to get a second basement room here before I can build up here. And I need to do that soon because I only have one spot available that I can actually build on right now before this becomes like absolutely a blocker. I'd really like for it to be a garage because if it's not a garage, then this garage I've already accumulated won't be worth anything. But if it is a garage, then collectively they'll both be worth 4 points. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have 3 roof cards, and I'm trying to remember what they are. I think I've got 1 purple, 1 brown, and 1 sort of terracotta. So I'm not doing very good on collecting like a uniform roof. But even if I just get 1 more roof card, then at least I'll have a complete roof. I'm working on these right here. One of them isn't going well at all. The other one I think I've got a decent chance at. And then I have 1 helper. She's an interior designer. So decor tokens, normally when you place a decor token in a room, you can't add on to that room anymore after that. So when I had put this ice cream maker in my kitchen, if I hadn't had this second kitchen here yet, then I wouldn't have been able to build this second kitchen because this decor would have finished off the kitchen. But my interior designer allows me to add 2 rooms that have decor in them. It also makes all of my decor worth 1 extra point at the end of the game. So my ice cream maker here is worth 2 points. At the end of the game, it'll actually be worth 3. I also have a pony stable. It's worth 1 point at the end of the game. It'll be worth an extra point because of my interior designer. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm currently the first player, headed into the 8th round, I believe it is. We have 4 rounds left, so I think it's the 8th round. And I'm going to be the first player. The cards are already out for the next round. Frankly, I don't know what I'm going to do because what I want's not out there. But yeah, I had the ability to attract a guest, this gentleman right here, because I had built a kitchen and a living room on the first floor of my house. So I could have attracted him, but I wanted to wait because I thought this one is, it requires 2 of the same things, but if I just got 1 extra thing, then it'd be worth 1 point. And I do want that extra thing. It's a bathroom. So like I said, that would help me with the home functionality to have a bathroom on each floor of the house. So I'd really like to be able to get a bathroom here so that I can attract this fella to my home. But we'll just see. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, this basement is going to become a blocker here pretty soon. If I'm not able to place a room that I would acquire because of the way that I've built my house so far, then I would just flip a card over and I would use the backside to build an empty room into my house. I think if I remember correctly, these will cost me points at the end of the game, although there is a helper uh, who would make them worth a point. So I may have to build an empty room into my house, but hopefully not. We'll just sort of see. How are you doing, Nick?
So, I'm doing all right. I'm getting what I need to get. I'm doing pretty well on my secret objective cards. I don't know what I'm doing with my roofing, because my roofing is very much like all over the place. But hey, if I get 1 or 2 pieces of roof that are the same color, cool. I just really am trying to get these secret objectives completed, which it looks like it might be going well, it might not. Again, it really depends on the cards and how that comes out in future rounds. But yeah, so far so good. But I wish I had Sarah's helper that made decorum not close off rooms, because my rooms are getting closed off, and I want to add more so they make me more points. But this is what my room looks like at the moment, or my home looks like at the moment, and yeah, it's going all right. Some of the stuff isn't making as much points as they could, but again, it kind of leans towards my secret objectives. That's why I kind of sacrificed the points for the rooms in my home. But other than that, I think I'm doing pretty well. But we'll see in the end of the game and who scores up points, because sometimes you just, especially this one, where you keep adding expansions and there's more ways to get points. It is up for grabs until you end the game and you count it all up. So we're going to go ahead and get back into it and come back at the end and see who is the winner and the loser of Dun 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 Dream Home. All right, see you guys in a sec. Toodles! Hey everybody, how's it going? So we just finished Dream Home, and the winner is me. I the winner. What was the score, Sarah?
Oh, really? You're going to make me say
Yeah,
it?
score?
Nick had 46.
Oh,
I had
snap.
39.
Oh snap! Oh snap! All right, Sarah. Tell us what you thought about Dream Home.
So I think the Dream Home is a very cute, light puzzly game. I think that it is a game that I would play with anybody who wanted to at any time. But personally, for me, if it was like up to me, I would only play this with the expansion, unless we were playing with like maybe some younger people. And the reason for that is because it is a kind of a light puzzle. And if you play with just the base game, in my opinion, there's not quite enough to catch my attention, really. But the expansion, the 156 Sunny Street expansion, includes these 2 modules that give you the helpers, the friends and family, which you can pursue to try to attract them into your home. So it gives you like a little bit more direction on which cards you're placing and where. And then it also gives you the blueprints, which give you, again, just a little bit, if you're not really sure which cards are best to take, this can provide a little bit more direction. They're sort of like secret objectives, and I like playing with those. I really think that this game is a lot of fun. It's cute, it's simple. I like the idea that we're building our dream homes, and we're doing it with like some pretty much some basic stuff, bedrooms and bathrooms, but every once in a while there's a dream home type thing, like a, you know, a library or a board game room or a particular piece of furniture. I ended up with the pony stables in my dream home, for example. And while for me personally, that's not exactly a dream home must have, it's fun to kind of think about this as like a, just a cute, whimsical little experience. Um, it does have like a little bit of a puzzle to it because you're trying to figure out the best way to get like all the rooms into your house in the way that's going to score you the most points, and you can't have everything you want, so you have to figure out like what you're willing to give up and what is like just absolutely like a must have for you. So I think it's cute. I like it. I think if you are adults playing with adults, I would definitely recommend playing with one or both of the modules from the expansion. Otherwise, there's just not quite enough game here for me personally. But playing with both of the expansions, Nick and I have found that we do enjoy this one. What do you think, Nick?
Well, so what I Sarah, we made our cat a little. Just show this real quick. She's got a little smiley. We have a little cat blanket there.
I have been trying to
it.
entice him to climb into this little like nest that I've made him, and he just did it for the first time. I saw him just do it. He got scared and he got back out, but he did it for the first time. He climbed into his little nest, and
side quest successful. But what I thought of Dream Home, I would not play this alone if it was just the base game. I wouldn't do it. It's not that. It's too easy. And if you're looking for an easy puzzly game for younger players, sure, this is a good one. But if you're someone that plays board games, modern board games regularly, I would not do this without the modules. We actually played this 3 separate games, adding a module to each one, and the last one had like everything, and it was intense. We had promos and everything just jam packed in this, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot to take care of, like a lot to take in, I mean, and it was like a lot going on. So it was like, okay, I got to make sure I'm thinking about everything, and it was more of like kind of our speed. But if someone wanted to play this and they had just the base game, I don't think I'd be that interested to play it because it's just too easy, too simple, and I mean, I don't mind simple games, but this would not be one that I would play with adults if unless you had all the modules, all the promos, and maybe not the promos, but all the modules, because the modules just make this game that much better. And to make another point, sometimes with games, people say expansions make the game better or fix things. In this is like the clearest instant where this game's expansions and modules actually just increase the difficulty. It's like you can feel the difficulty just kind of like grow with this game. And if you don't play with the modules, it's just easy. But if you play with more modules, it definitely gets more difficult and more, I think, a worthwhile game that I would want to spend my time on. So yeah, I mean, I love this game when it has all its modules, and when it doesn't, it doesn't. And you can definitely see in this game where expansions make it more. It doesn't fix it. It's already a good game. It already works. It just raises the difficulty, unlike other board games where, why did they take this, expansion out when you put it in? It's like it should have been just part of the game. But in this one, it was just very much like the difficulty range for all the expansion content. So, is our cat safe? We had to go check in our cat because he's just destructive. He's an old boy, but he's getting his kicks in again. It's just his twilight years, and he's just like, I'm gonna go out with my boots on, apparently.
He is a very self-centered cat. He does not like it when the attention is not on him. So we were doing this, and this is the first time we've done this together for a while. So we were not concentrating on him every single time he walked into the room and demanded attention. So he was out in the living room trying to be mischievous and get my attention. But all is well.
All is well. Cool.
I did try to be quiet, so hopefully none of the noise bled in while Nick was
Not too much
chatting with
noise,
you
probably.
guys.
But yeah. All right, sir. You got any final words for anyone that might be interested in playing Dream Home in the future?
Yeah, I think it's really cute. I think if you have children, this is a great sort of maybe a decent sort of intro to drafting and to sort of like tile placement because we're placing these cards in certain ways. And I wouldn't say that it's great for like younger kids, but definitely for older kids, this would be a great introduction to those sorts of game mechanics. And you don't have to play with all the stuff that Nick and I like to play with. You can just take it down to the basics with the base game. And it's a really simple introduction to drafting and placement. And it's really cute. I love the theme. And it is a lot of fun to play, especially if you start to incorporate elements from the expansion and the promos that Nick were talking about and stuff like that. It's fun and cute, and I like it.
Cool. So that was us playing Dream Home. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you ever see it at a convention or go to a game night and you see it on the table, go ahead and check it out. Or not. If this video showed you that this is not the game for you, then hey, we saved you some time. But if it's a game that you are interested in, then look out for that game at a local event, or when you go to conventions like Gen Con or just any kind of local show that might have this there. So without further ado, we do appreciate you guys watching this video, and hope you all are playing lots of games. So we will see you guys on the next video. Toodles!